is just 2 minutes past 10 p.m. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. Welcome to UBC News Tonight. My name is Sharon Sanyonga with Mugalu Mohammed on Sign Language. Let's take a look at our top stories of the day. In UBC News Tonight, Museveni, Chagulanyi lawyers face off. Still to come, UNEB releases 2020 examinations timetable. In more stories, Education Ministry asked to account for 8 billion Ugandan shillings. COVID-19 stops Uganda's Afro-basketball dream. You're watching UBC News Tonight with Sharon Sanyonga and Mugalu Mohammed on Sign Language. In our top stories of the day, President Yoweri Museveni's lawyers have told the Supreme Court that they find no conclusive evidence brought to court for consideration by the National Unity Platform lawyers. The response was premised on affidavits tendered before court by Robert Chagulanyi's lead counsel, Medad Segona, detailing arrests and kidnaps of some key witnesses in Chagulanyi's case. However, the Supreme Court declined to grant leave for Robert Chagulanyi to file the remaining 200 affidavits in his petition file. Onyango and Namamonde have a detailed report on this story.
Following the decline of the Supreme Court to honor the plea by Robert Chagulanyi's legal team to submit additional affidavits, incumbent Museveni's lawyers have had what many scholars had alluded to as an easy walk in the national park, describing NUP's trashed affidavit as containing no conclusive evidence on the subject matter before court. NUP lawyers had earlier asked court to grant them leave to add more implicating affidavits, but in tonight's court ruling, presided over by the Chief Justice Owinyi Dolo, the court's circumstantial ruling has collapsed NUP's plea on dry rocks.
We have given due consideration to the application and submissions of counsel for the applicant and for the respondents. By a majority of 8 to 1, this court disallows this application. Costs shall be in the cause. The detailed reasons for the ruling will be contained in the detailed judgment, dated at Kampala this 19th day of February 2021 and signed.
In court, where the applicant's legal team, led by counsel Medad Segona, prayed to court to allow the application, saying it raises special circumstances.
Again, we submit that our case has been made for special circumstances. While they talk about 50% of the time, counsel for the respondents do not compute the time. They deliberately and illegally took away from the petition. But it does not stop there, because the case for you now is not the petition. Those predicaments that predated the filing of the petition have continued to punctuate the proceedings that continue today. And that's the reason, among others, why we're here.
Segona also based his evidence on the arrests and kidnaps of some key witnesses by security operatives, which they claim hindered them from meeting the deadline and gathering all the required evidence as directed by court. However, this was objected by Museveni's lawyer Kiryowa Kiwanuka, who told court that there is no conclusive evidence brought to court to consider the said allegations.
It is also prudent always that for a litigant to come to court they must have evidence. We have gotten to the point where we now practice the other way around. I first file a writ. After filing the writ, I look for the evidence. That is what you're getting, that is what is before your lordships. That I had a petition, but now I'm looking for the evidence. How is that possible? How can you achieve a grievance before you see the evidence? How can you say that my would-be witnesses are in prison? How do you arrive at the conclusion that they would be witnesses before interviewing? It's preposterous, my lord. It's preposterous, my lord, and this is the kind of conduct that this court must absolutely reject.
Joseph Masiko, the Electoral Commission lawyer, told court that the application is incompetent before court, saying court had fixed time of only 45 days to give a verdict. Against this submission, the respondents prayed to court to dismiss the application with the costs.
Counsel Segona on the same record is quoted as having said that they were going to be more prepared going forward. My lords, what we are seeing now is the exact opposite of that. As this court noted, not only did they fail to serve the 50 or so affidavits on the 11th, but even when time was enlarged, my lord, the record is clear that this court gave them an additional 4 days. The court noted that they had 10 days, and the court noted that they're giving them an additional 4 days. Even then, my lords, the filing was on the very last dot of 5 p.m.
Meanwhile, Supreme Court declined to grant leave for Robert to file the remaining 200 affidavits in his petition file before this court. Bernard Higa and Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
In more stories, Uganda National Examinations Board, UNEB, has officially released timetables for 2020 primary leaving examinations, Uganda Certificate of Education and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Examination. The Executive Secretary UNEB, Dan Nokracho Dongo, said the examinations will be standard, the grading protocol will remain, and the content of examination papers will remain. UCE begins on the 26th of February, PLE begins on the 26th of March, while UACE begins on the 9th of April with briefing.
Uganda National Examinations Board is set to conduct the 2020 Uganda Certificate of Education examinations beginning on 26 February, primary leaving examinations on 26 March, and Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education examinations begins on 9th April. Each of the seasons begins with a briefing. At least 749,811 candidates are expected to appear for PLE exams, while 333,775 candidates will appear for Uganda Certificate of Education examinations and 98,379 candidates for Uganda Advanced Certificate of Examinations. The Executive Secretary UNEB, Dan Nokracho Dongo, however, says there are reports of people who have started selling papers they say are of the 2020 PLE in Mubende.
We want to warn very, very strongly those directors and head teachers who want to celebrate results that have been obtained through fraud, that this time round the board is going to be extremely harsh and on any other person who will indulge in this examination malpractice. Reports that we have received from Mubende area indicates that already some people are selling what they say are the PLE papers which are coming in the examination, and some schools are busy buying these at 150,000 per paper, even before the PLE paper has actually been printed. So we want to warn the public that no paper from UNEB can be available except when the exams are in process.
Uganda National Examinations Board says they are aware COVID-19 affected learners but have set standard examinations and insist that the grading protocols and content of examinations will remain.
We came back. We believe that schools made all the efforts to try and cover as much of the curriculum as they can. But we want to say that the examinations will be standard. You cannot say that the 2020 examination was a watered down version because of COVID-19. We still want to say, despite all the challenges that the candidates had, they were able to pass at this level. Grading, the setting is a standard setting, covering the syllabus for primary, UCE and UACE. And the grading protocols that have been used will also be observed. We do not want a situation where other countries doubt our credentials, our awards, because we have said yes, this year, in order to get a distinction one, all you need is 50%. We don't.
Complying with the standard operating procedures on COVID-19 in conducting the 2020 examinations necessitated increasing the budget of UNEB. They requested for a supplementary of 10.5 billion shillings, which was granted by Parliament.
Therefore, the funds we had for running the examinations, whereas they would have been adequate under normal circumstances, when you are talking about another 35,000 invigilators that are required, several other marking centers that are required, our arithmetic gave us that figure. We presented this, and I am glad to say, at least from what I learned, that Parliament passed our request for supplementary funding.
Meanwhile, the UNEB Bill 2020 was passed into law by Parliament and it is pending the President's assent. Accordingly, this bill will become the UNEB Act and expands the scope of offences and sanctions. If assented to within this period, the examinations will be conducted in accordance to the new law. I'm Navka Farida in Kampala.
The Inspectorate of Government has successfully concluded monitoring the training program under Danish Agency for International Development Upgrade known as Community Responsibility to Enhance Transparency and Accountability in the Ankwale sub-region. The coordinator of the initiative, David Mujisha, says the community that is being monitored is expected to monitor all government programs in their areas and also report inconsistencies to the relevant authorities.
Communities from different villages in Ankwale region have been sensitized and trained by civil society organizations on how to monitor government programs in their respective areas.
We expect them to monitor all government programs in their communities where they live. We expect them to lead in handling grievances in the communities to ensure that the service is delivered where it is supposed to be delivered. We expect them to make routine reports on how government programs are being implemented in their communities.
The 3-day training for 18 members from different parishes is being funded by the Danish Agency for International Development under the close watch of the Inspectorate of Government.
And this program so far accounts for about 1.5 billion Uganda shillings that we are injecting in the communities in order to get the services that we are looking for.
He says the communities can now give reports regarding the implementation of government programs and demand for accountability.
We are getting a very good feedback from the communities. They are very excited about this program and they are promising that they are ready to work with government. They have already appreciated having identified them to work with government or to monitor government programs.
The Regional Inspectorate Officer Mbarara Okech Frederick says community monitoring groups are now acting as whistleblowers for the Office of the Inspectorate.
And we arrested a notorious drug thief. This is a guy who had been arrested by the district for stealing drugs. He survived. He was arrested by, I think, the State House and Anti-Corruption Unit. He survived. But the community monitoring groups managed to get him out. And we arrested him. By God's grace, he was actually convicted and is serving his sentence at Luzira.
The Inspectorate concluded the monitoring program in Kashari, Yibanda and Tungamo, where community monitoring groups asked questions on what is expected out of them after the training.
Every day of their life they are monitoring, they are seeing what's going on. And I think this is a very good strategy because when they know where to start from, when they know that even when they go to the local authorities and they don't be supportive, they can run to a civil society which can run to the Inspectorate. So I think this is a very good project and it really should be promoted.
Muhumuza Samuel, the Executive Director, Justice is a Right Uganda, says the training will enhance visibility in different areas.
We are informing the community, the people we call the grassroots people, that they should know that the government is delivering to them. Therefore, they should be in the know of the services that are being implemented in their area and take a note to investigate, to know exactly what is supposed to be delivered and inquire from the service providers so that we can tally. The information can flow easily to the beneficiary. Then the beneficiary should be accountable to know exactly what is supposed to be delivered to them.
The purpose of the Inspectorate of Government in Ankole, particularly in Barara, was to find out how community members are being trained in curbing corruption. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
National Resistance Movement members in Bududa district have said Museveni won in the recent elections and it was expected due to his popularity and performance record. They referred to the petition filed to court by National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu as baseless, which needs to be dropped by the Supreme Court. An NRM coordinator in Bududa district says because of his ideology of developing the country, he won.
National Resistance members in Bududa sub-region are eagerly waiting for the swearing ceremony of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The supporters who are at Bududa Town Council headquarters say they witnessed a transparent election in their region.
No fighting, the election went on well. We exercised the democracy. President Museveni won election.
Yabanga ibirira anga chinabi ni 64.9%. Ate Nupu yafuna 29%.
The coordinator, Mzee Yenderea Task Force in Bududa, John Okwari, says Bududa district is among the strongholds of NRM. The former coordinator in the National Unity Platform Party, Bududa John Okwari, says the NRM had strong mobilization skills which led many to cross to NRM through Mzee Yenderea Task Force.
Nezira mu NRM okunonyera Mzee y'obululu. Twatuuka ku buwanguzi kubanga twanoonya obululu ne tutuuka ku buwanguzi. Obuwanguzi bwe twatuukako twobukakasa era obululu abantu batuwa nga babuwa Muzeeyi twanoonya akalulu era ne tuwangula.
The members are, however, optimistic that the Supreme Court will dismiss the election petition filed by the National Unity Platform contesting Museveni's victory.
Musango tetwagala ate bituze mu kukiriza abaana okudda kusoma.
Efekyesi kusaba ku musango mu kooti kuruleyo. Abaana befe bere ku masomero basome kuba Museveni alomali ng'olya nina yakumeesa oba wasoma alibonesa sinasoma ta nikhala mwikitiyi betsa banzibira mwikitiyi.
Mukama bw'abaawulira saala zaffe ngaffe abadoda abekubira akalulu kaffe bino bya kooti Mukama awulire badisimisinga omusango.
In regard to the rampant kidnaps in the central region, Bududa NRM asserted that there is maximum security in their region and warned against self-seeking politicians.
Noted with concern about the vehicles which are called drones that are taking people. I want to categorically put it clear that I think all the people around here, the way I've been ever since we elected, I've never moved away. I've never heard about this being happening in Bududa, and I pray that it will not happen because at least we know each other. So no one has got lost in this district, and I know that no one will get lost.
The Yenderea Task Force is in the eastern region preaching the NRM ideology to the Bamasaba on the achievements of NRM.
National Resistance Movement sub-county chairpersons in Kisoro district have been given motorcycles for easy mobility during the mobilization. Now, the Minister of State for Regional Cooperation, Dr. Philemon Mateke, handed over the 19 motorcycles to sub-county and town council's chairperson at an event held at NRM offices in Kisoro municipality. The chairpersons vowed to mobilize massively for the NRM party across the district. Habimana Dewa reports.
The National Resistance Movement is not giving anything to chance even after winning the January 14th presidential elections with 58.3% and local council leadership by over 80%. The party is now facilitating its teams at sub-county level and village level with motorcycles and bicycles to boost their mobilization roar.
In favor of the movement. kandi zaje kuyikoresha ibindi tayikoresha bya movement proje kumonitoringa.
Sub-county and town council NRM chairpersons are being facilitated with motorcycles to help them maneuver the rural terrain as they mobilize communities to appreciate government programs. In Kisoro District, Regional Cooperation Minister Dr. Filimon Mateche handed over the motorcycles to the NRM chairpersons and emphasized that the motorcycles be used where or else they are recalled.
Reason you mufite kugira ngo ntabwo mufite. Iriho? Mutaje kuzikoresha nuko.
Filimon Mateke also said bicycles for village NRM chairpersons would be delivered soon.
LC1 tuweze kuwazana magari. Your policy admins movement.
New administrative units will, however, have to wait a little bit longer. The chairpersons thanked President Yoweri Museveni for the support and pledged to activate movement branches in all corners of the district.
Region of 14 sub-counties, no baraboneze pitipiti. These administrative units zaje bwa nyuma. Ni byo chairman ababwiye twamatwa consulting secretariat. N'abatwemera gukora ntuza elections za structures in charge of the sub-counties.
The president won by over 90% in Kisoro district in the general elections. The party also swept all elective positions across the district. Being largely a hill area, motorcycles are handy in maneuvering the district's winding paths across rivers, around hills and valleys that define the district's terrain.
Kisoro district hangare na kusangaza kaunti hangare president wacu imana imereza imbaraga zo gukomeza kugira ngo areberere.
In the days preceding NRM primaries, President Yoweri Museveni promised all NRM chairpersons bicycles, for village chairpersons motorcycles, for sub-county chairpersons and pickups for district chairpersons.
Nibuka yuko president yabasezeranye iki
Habimana Deo reporting for UBC News, Kisoro.
Government under the Ministry of Agriculture is constructing a water dam in Kachomo in Karite Sub-County, Amuda District in Karamoja Sub-Region. The dam that sits on a 30-acre piece of land is going to provide water for agricultural production. Details follow.
Government is constructing a water dam in Amdat district to provide water for agriculture. The project sits on a 30-acre piece of land. Several plans have been laid down to make use of this project, as the district production officer, Robert Kamanai, explains.
The major constraint that our farmers have is water. The rains come for a very short time. That is from around April, May. By June, the rains have gone. But the soils are very fertile. So what we decided to do was to provide water for the farmers so that we can be able to use irrigation and be able to produce twice in a year. If we produce twice in a year, our farmers will harvest at least something good. And we know that we want to make these farmers into groups. We want to have groups for horticultural crops, we want to have groups for livestock, and we want to have groups for food security crops.
Amdat District Administrative Officer Haj Masokoi Waswa says the construction of the dam means upgrading from subsistence farming to modern farming practices. Masokoi also says the people of Amdat have potential to produce high crops that can earn them more money but could not do much due to water scarcity.
It can sustain almost all crops. Some of you grow maize. Maize is good for food in the short term. but it's very difficult to keep. And its prices fluctuate a lot. At one time, a kilo might buy 400, 500 shillings. But we want you to diversify to other crops. They are high-value crops like groundnuts, like simsim, like millet, like soya bean, like beans. Those ones, you can grow them and bring money, but you can also store them.
Amdat Resident District Commissioner Michael Bwalatum says once the dam is completed, people should be able to produce more food and the district should be hunger-free.
That were given by NADS. We have, I think, another 2 tractors which were given by some organization. We're expecting another tractor from the office of the Prime Minister. So we shall have about 6 tractors for opening land. Surely, why should the people of Amodat be hungry? Why should they be poor? Because if they have maize, a lot of maize, you know.
The 1 million litre water capacity dam is one of the biggest dams, expected to be completed by August this year.
In more stories, residents of Chesika Village, Katara Parish, Karungu Sub-County, Buhoeju District were left in shock this Thursday when 4 members of the same family and 4 neighbors were killed when the house that they were occupying was swept away by a landslide. The incident occurred following a heavy downpour that lasted for several hours. Watch.
This tragedy occurred this Thursday evening following the heavy downpour accompanied by thunderstorm which swept away the home of one Asime Crescent, killing 4 of his family members including his wife and 3 children.
atukubaye baryaho inzura keiza baza kwigama atubigama muri omushiyungu atamize bwizere n'ekidongo byona byabakwataramu.
According to Crescent, the heavy downpour started at around midday, but unfortunately he had gone for his normal businesses. He narrates that as rain subsided, he came back home only to find his home covered by rubber.
Abantu bayobona baza kubara bayibana bakabanti 11 aha banti 11 abo rahangeje shaha abasize kununura abantu bana abo twakigamba na bejesha ikiri kumanyisa ngo abantu mushanju bona bagenzere.
By the time this tragedy struck, 11 occupants were in the house, but only 4 survived and were rushed to Winswera Health Center for further management. One of the deceased died after rescuing some of the now survivors, according to Crescent.
Bana banje afira bana bashatu na nyinabo bonkarahanga ansigireho utwana 2 na toto tusigireho munyanya bo nuwa tsikiro mbyondo katutambikire harahankungu agarakayo naza kwihayo nyina nabo mu eje nanka ekidongo cyumukwata nabahumura.
The deceased have been identified as Thomas 17 years, Anna 6 years, Agaba 1 year, Jovita Chogabire, their mother, and their neighbors including Sharon Ampire, Teopista Keminangano, and one unidentified baby.
Injure jegwire nyonda jirebere henshato ndajirebere ho ekwe kutera yensiona nekuka takajona rukuka rigenda konka hinda revere takafaga muntu nkogo akaba akatere umwanya nkogo agenda itaka konka te cyanyumwa abasyo cyo kibire kindi accident ebiroho ati eshati gwiriri hineka yagwa haruguriyeka hatamize bwarunduka gatwara abantu.
Eyewitnesses, including some of those that retrieved the bodies, told UBC TV that this has never occurred in their area, further narrating how this tragedy struck.
Sanga abantu bafire abayebaho no ko bayibabirukangize babatwire tutandika tuguma stimbamu tuyihamu
The deceased were in the kitchen, according to the local residents. When they saw a landslide trying to cover them, they ran into the house, but they could do nothing to rescue their lives. Locals now appeal to government to relocate all those locals living in disaster-prone areas. Asima Crescent, whose house was swept away, killing his wife and children, has also requested well-wishers and government to come to his rescue.
Very devastating news right there. May the Lord strengthen Mr. Simwe. And for all the well-wishers, you can always get to him for help. In more stories, still on a sad note, residents of Makere Kavule village in Kawempe division this morning found the body of a 3-month baby dumped in garbage near the Kampala Bombo main road. They condemned the act done by an unknown mother.
There was panic and tension in Makere Kavule area as residents and passers-by on their way to work this morning found a toddler's body dumped by a malicious person laying in garbage along the Kampala Bombo roadside. The dead baby is assumed to have been only 3 months old. The passers-by condemned the act, wondering how a mother could carry the pregnancy for 9 months and only in the disguise dump the baby in garbage.
Bulijjo nti ffe bannyammwe okubalera okulaba olwenga mufuuse ensonga twakabakuliza kukomerera, twabakuliza ku mbugo, twabakuliza mu miziina. Ddayeeko obika omwana mu muziina naye akakase nti omwana oyo akuzibwa ne maama.
Asobola omuntu ofunye olubuto n'otuuka w'oluzaalira n'okwata omwana n'omusuula omaze kumuzaala.
Police from Kawempe was swiftly called on and the body was taken to Mulago Hospital for post-mortem. The deputy spokesperson Kampala Metropolitan Luko Wesijire says they are in the hunt of a mother involved in the dubious act and called upon residents in the area and its surroundings to be on the look for any mother who lost a baby to alert police.
Police are investigating the death of a 3-month-old baby who was found dumped in a rubbish pit at Makere Kavule today early in the morning at around 8 a.m. Currently, we have not ascertained the exact cause of the death, but the body was taken pretty much at Mulago. There were no physical marks that could inform us on what could have caused the death of the child, but we shall be informing you at an opportune time.
I'm Ivan Juko, reporting for UBC here in Kampala.
In more stories, Uganda has a housing deficit of 1.6 million housing units with low and middle income earners without permanent homes. Now, it's against this background that Enterprise for Housing Development Uganda is piloting a housing estate for the people in Little City to enable the low and middle income earners acquire a permanent home.
Maurice Odich is a secondary school teacher at Mentor Senior Secondary School in Lira City and is one of the many low and middle income earners in Uganda who do not have a permanent home for himself. However, through the initiative of Uganda Cooperative Alliance and Enterprise for Housing Development Uganda Limited, Maurice has been able to secure a decent apartment for himself and his family.
If I was given the chance to rate these people, I would give them 5 stars. I am able to live in this decent home now with a lot of peace. Nobody comes to force me, especially on the issue of rent.
Enterprise for Housing Development is developing its site 5 kilometers along Lirasoroti Road, where city dwellers will acquire an affordable but decent home. The site sits on a 3-hectare piece of land.
A house goes for as low as 25 million, while a plot goes for as low as 6.6 million up to 9.9. We have designed this estate to cater for the kind of people that you would find in a city that is developing.
Alex Kamokama, the board chair for Enterprise for Housing Development Uganda, said the estate is unique in its way that gives dwellers comfort.
And when the children grow up in such an environment, they will be more inspired than those who live in environments that are not organized.
However, Ivan Nasimwe, the General Secretary for Uganda Cooperative Alliance, said Lira City is chosen as a pilot because of over 20 years of insurgencies that deprived people of decent accommodation in the north.
Uganda still has a housing deficit of 1.6 million housing units. So we are still far. We still have a lot of housing gaps that we need to fill.
The regional coordinator, Isaac Okwiri, noted that this initiative, if embraced, will organize the new cities and spur development.
This is an opportunity for the city to embrace and a model even to copy to other areas to make sure we have a decent, smart city with actually proper buildings, much as they are not very expensive, but they are really very well organized, that will actually promote the image of the city.
Enterprise for Housing Development currently has 4 housing units and over 40 title plots in Gwambara set to be commissioned tomorrow by President Yoweri Museveni. Ediolwa, UBC News.
Well, that means that's good news for Lira City. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action. And it never tasted this good.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Tell me, how do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do.
Sent you for today, and we sent you for tomorrow. Sent you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say, sent you, sent you, sent you, yeah.
Sent you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles, or other services to get Sent You points. The more you use, the more Sent You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Sent You.
Beyond Beauty Parlor and Spa, your beautification destination. We believe in suitable beauty. We offer pedicure and manicure, makeup, hair hair styling, plating, weaving, dreadlocks, massage, waxing, facial and body scrub, name it. We also offer additional services like honeymoon packages, hiring venues, and vehicles for brides and grooms. Training interns from different beauty schools. We are located on Uganda House, ground floor 5. Call to book for your appointment on 0702 645 015 or 0414 696 229. You can WhatsApp us on 0752 645 005. Email us beyondbeautyparlor@yahoo.com.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. In more stories, cocoa growing is taking shape in central Uganda, with residents of Mpigi district embracing the plantation crop for commercial purposes. Local farmers, however, decry unsatisfactory cocoa prices, something that they want authorities to address. The managing director, Sante Mama Pamela Nyoti, underscores the need for more production to support growing demand for Uganda's cocoa beans on the global market.
Off Kampala-Masaka Road is another pathway leading to Asante Mama and Sunshine projects in Mpigi. It is a cocoa growing hub that has left residents here wishing they had more land. This is because the venture is profitable.
Nsobola okuyingiza emitwalo gyange nga wakati wa 225 buli mwezi. School fees tekikyali kizibu wange, okulya n'okunywa tekikyali kizibu wange, obulwadde n'ebirala.
For me, my family has changed. You see my house. I take my daughters and sons at school. I can sleep well. I eat well.
It is an undertaking that was introduced by Pamela Anyoti. Her passion for chocolate products drove her into introducing the growing of cocoa in some parts of Uganda, including Mpigi.
Living in Belgium, where we have a big selection and variety of chocolate, and understanding very well that the cocoa, the primary commodity, is coming from Africa. So I looked at myself and I said, wait a minute, what can I do about this, since I am already very passionately engaged with farmers. So it's something that just came together out of really a personal interest in eating a good quality chocolate.
But it was not easy, as distributing seeds for the local farmers proved a challenge.
So the gaps that are right now here is just the lack of understanding in our own economy among our own farmers about the actual benefits of cocoa, because it's a long-term crop, it's capital intensive, and unless you really intentionally set for yourself a long-term view, if you're thinking about immediate returns, this is probably not the crop for you.
So, as she led a tour of the multi-million cocoa plantation, it was clear expression of optimism in this venture. It was not lost on her that the crop still had potential to develop not just Uganda, but Africa as a whole.
I came into this product particularly because there's a huge potential. And I'm always starting from the market side. If I see the number of people who consume the final product on a daily basis in all of its formats, whether it is chocolate, cocoa oil, or cocoa butter, or cocoa powder, all the products that are used, the final product that is used, there's a huge market, and that is only going to continue to grow.
The tour attracted officials from the United Nations, including Antonio Querido, the country representative for Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO. He was impressed with the development, describing it a possible avenue for empowering women.
where the social responsibility is strong, involving the local community. And for us and for FAO, it's important that we also understand and see how we can support the local community to be part of a chain.
Uganda's cocoa beans are said to be of high quality, competing with those of other cocoa-producing countries, including Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, and Indonesia. For now, government intervention to make this venture more profit-generating is still required to improve household incomes. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Thank you so much, Henry Okrut, for that wonderful story on cocoa growing. In more stories, Uganda Revenue Authority enforcement team arrested a dealer of wines and spirits, impounding a number of unstamped goods. Now, the culprits were netted during a crackdown in the district and will be charged under Article 19A of the Tax Procedure Code Act.
Uganda Revenue Authority enforcement officers conducted an operation at a depot of wines and spirits located in Osofia SL within Busia municipality for possible illicit goods. This followed a tip-off about Busia Impex Limited dealings in uncertified beverages, which poses danger to the population.
We are trying to find out who is forging, who is behind this habit, who is forging these stamps that is leaving our country, denying our country a lot of revenue.
During the search, verification of goods using Gizmo machine to detect goods with genuine stamps was used to discover Uganda Revenue Authority / Uganda National Bureau of Standards certified stamps on the products. Some products were found with illegal stamps.
And here it writes, no secure code found. You've seen? No secure code found, as you can see.
The culprits will be charged under Section 19A of the tax procedure in conformity with the laws of Uganda.
This is where the URA and UNBS have the powers to handle this exercise. Section 19, the same section 19B of the same act prescribes the different penalties that he is supposed to go through. First of all, if you're found in possession of those products that are not genuine, you're penalized 50 million. If you have unstamped goods, or you are in the process of manufacturing unstamped goods, you're also subjected to 50 million. But also you can go through court procedures, and any sentence, any penalty can also be levied on you.
The operation zeroed on 6 products, including wines, spirits, water, beer, soda, and cigarettes, both local and imported products, to minimize revenue loss.
These products they are locally manufactured. Quite a big number. We have big factories of those products. So if people forge these stamps and bring in products that are not genuine, first of all, our society is not protected. Secondly, the government loses a lot of revenue.
The successful operation was supported by the Busia community.
How comes if someone dies? Will you talk anything? Is there anything you are going to say that a Ugandan maybe he has eaten poison from a certain food, yet you are using something from Indian shops? Yes, we are not abusing them. They are brothers, but let them bring something good for our life.
We can buy alcohol thinking it's good, yet it is expired and harmful.
From the international scene, the world's first COVID-19 human challenge study, backed by a 33.6 million euros UK government investment, the first of its kind study for this virus will evolve, establishing the smallest amount of virus needed to cause infection, which will give doctors greater understanding of COVID-19 and help support the pandemic response by aiding vaccine and treatment development.
Fair and even distribution of COVID-19 vaccines was the focus of attention at the UN, and the world body's chief made clear how badly he thinks the international community is failing to address the challenge.
The rollout of COVID-19 vaccines is generating hope.
The United Kingdom has become the first country to greenlight a medical trial that would expose volunteers to the coronavirus. The government says the study would take place in a safe and controlled environment. Up to 90 healthy volunteers aged 18 to 30 will be compensated for their participation, and research aims to first establish the smallest amount of virus needed to cause infection. It will then study vaccine efficacy against infection, where volunteers could be given a COVID-19 shot before exposure to the virus. The medical trial is set to begin within the month.
First Lady Margaret Kenyatta's Beyond Zero initiative has begun a new intervention specifically targeting rural communities with medical services to support sectors adversely affected by COVID-19. Beyond Zero is keen on supporting Kenyans in resuscitating their economic activities by providing critical health services in the rural areas. Speaking to the inaugural event to launch the program, Beyond Zero Program Officer Angela Langat said that like the original Beyond Zero medical safaris, the new approach dumped in addition to providing curated medical services. Mrs. Langat said the new approach will prioritize public health messaging targeted at beneficiary communities so as to promote preventive healthcare. During the meeting, Timalofa as CEO Simon Van de Berg congratulated Beyond Zero for its innovative model of delivering healthcare to vulnerable populations in the country. At the 3 medical camp, over 1,400 Flower Farm workers and their families will be screened for various ailments and offered treatment. The workers will be screened for, among other ailments, cervical and breast cancer, HIV and AIDS, high blood pressure and diabetes. They'll also be enlisted for the Linda Mama Maternal Healthcare Program through the National Hospital Insurance Fund.
How do you do? We're here to show some appreciation for the things you do.
Thank you for today, and we thank you for tomorrow. Thank you for every time and everywhere you go. We love you so, and we enjoy life with you. We are happy, happy, happy to know that we will go with you. That's why we say thank you, thank you, thank you, yeah.
Thank you for choosing MTN. Use MTN mobile money, bundles or other services to get Thank You points. The more you use, the more Thank You points you get. We look forward to many more years together. Thank you.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action, and it never tasted this good.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
In our sports news, efforts to improve lives of refugees in settlements and the host community in Uganda have been boosted by a $1.5 million Game Connect project orchestrated by the Olympic Refugee Foundation and to be implemented through non-profit organization UBC. This 3-year project will target 10,000 youth, but importantly through sports. Watch.
Uganda has been blessed with an Olympic Refugee Foundation $1.5 million Game Connect project that aims at improving the psychosocial well-being and mental health of refugees.
And we're going to use sport as a catalyst to attract the youth. But when we get the youth to come and participate in sport, we can give them life skills. And some of the life skills that we're going to be giving them will be like agriculture business, sport for social protection programs, basic programs for social cohesion, and the togetherness that the displaced people need to have to be able to survive and continue and have a very positive outlook to life.
It's to be implemented by non-profit organization AVIS, which has committed its full support to Ugandan youth.
Today I want to confirm the ability of AVIS to work for and with Ugandan people, with all stakeholders, local authorities, ministers, donors, CBOs, civil society organizations, all the stakeholders. Because our mission is to promote the dignity of each single person. We also want to continue to improve the life of Ugandan people, especially the young.
The project activities will be in various refugee holding districts and settlements like Kampala, Ramanja settlement in Kamwenge, Palabek settlement in Lamo, and Ajumani settlement.
We are targeting youth between the ages of 15 to 24 years. And this project will reach this goal through 3 main outcomes. The first one is to ensure that the youth gain skills and capacities to support their own mental health and psychosocial well-being and apply these skills in their daily lives. The second one is the youth develop new and strengthened social and support networks. And the third is that the district level officials appreciate and advocate for sports for protection. So we want to do something that will remain as a legacy.
Minister for Disaster Preparedness and Refugees Hilary Onek is optimistic that the project will play a multifaceted role of fostering unity, health and shaping of character.
Already a lot of good words have been said about the Game Connect, for which we are very grateful. But what is sports all about? To me, number one, sport is about health. Health. To be healthy, your body must move and be active.
The project will focus on disciplines like volleyball, football, basketball, and netball. State Minister for Sports Hamson Obu has tasked federation heads to use the project to identify and tap talent to Uganda's advantage.
We know that this particular project that will target the young people, adolescents and youth in the refugee camps will not only target the refugee community but also the host community. So in addition to saluting the Italian ambassador in Uganda, UNHCR will take the lead together with the AVSI and UOC. We hope that the project will go a long way in also helping us in identifying talents within the local community.
Game Connect is an innovative and ambitious project born from a collaboration that includes partners like Right to Play, Youth Sport Uganda, Uganda Olympic Committee, and the UNHCR. Uganda is ranked #1 amongst refugee-holding countries in Africa and 3rd in the whole world. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
This in the interim ended Uganda's participation at the final Afro basketball qualifier window hosted in Tunisia. Uganda's Silverbacks have been in Tunisia for the past 2 weeks, but fast for a training camp. Now the team was however shocked when on the day of tournament started against Egypt to be told of 5 positive tests in the camp. Team leadership acknowledged the few cases but cited foul play because they were ready to go ahead with their game since they made quarter, but organizers advised that they leave to avoid endangering others. Having won 2 of its 3 games during the first window, Uganda needed just 1 win from Egypt, Morocco or Cape Verde to seal an Afro basketball final ticket. All that now is in balance awaiting big technical decisions from FIBA. We promise to keep Ugandans updated about any of the details. Veteran sports journalist Johnson Febuary has offered himself a position of promoting and marketing of Uganda Handball Federation, where he believes that handball is a relatively good sport but has been laid down by obsolete methods that have cost him value in the public domain.
I'm contesting for the post of promotions and marketing in the Uganda Handball Federation. Basically, I want to improve on the image of the federation. There is a lot that has been lacking. Handball is a prominent sport, is a good sport, and but has been lacking behind because I think they lacked in that position somebody to market the sport. What I intend to do is want to align clubs, because clubs are the ones that improve on the marketing of any organizations of sports. So I intend to align their management, help them how to disseminate the information to the federation, the communication between clubs and federations, so that in that purpose we need to improve on our visibility in the media and also make sure that we align the structures in the federation. So after doing that, we will be in a position to start to enroll what we call good governance in the federation, and that we hope that will take the sport to another level.
Thank you so much for watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda, and thank you for watching UBC News Tonight with me, Sharon Chomjasanyanga and Mugalu Mohammed on Sign Language. From the team and I, have a lovely night, and we leave you with the weather forecast with Semper Alex Kim.
Brought to you by At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is time for the weather forecast from the Weather Center with Semper Alex Kim. Sunny intervals dominated our skies across the country in the morning hours. However, in the afternoon, cloudy conditions that developed into isolated rainfall in various parts of the country. By 9 a.m. This morning, various parts of the country reported some rainfall, like Mbarara reported 37.0 millimeters, while Kampala 7.5 and Jinja reported 1.3 millimeters of rainfall. Now, the satellite look on Africa shows there is a tropical cyclone called Gambe over the Mozambique Channel that has influenced the rain belt and shifted it quite to the south away from our country. That is why we are having reduced rainfall activities. However, there are winds that are quite dry but also dusty that are coming in through the Sahara desert coming into our region. The reason we still have the haze and hot conditions in the north of the country. Otherwise, the southwestern is also expected to still benefit from the Congo air mass. Tomorrow morning, we do expect sunny intervals, that is across the southwestern part of the country. However, areas along the Lake Victoria Basin are expected to have some thundering showers. Well, the rest of the country will hang on to bright and sunny conditions. Well, into the afternoon, we do expect some light isolated rainfall in the western sector of the country, as well as parts of the Lake Victoria Basin and to the eastern This will influence temperatures to be quite hot at 33 degrees. That will be in Karamoja region, 28 in the nation's capital Kampala, whereas in Kabale Highlands we are forecasting at 24 degrees centigrade. And elsewhere across the globe, we are forecasting cold conditions that will be in New York at a daytime high of only 2 degrees centigrade, but sunny intervals will dominate. Whereas Dubai is expected to have sunny intervals with temperatures a little bit cold at 28 degrees centigrade compared to the usual. That wraps it up. Stay tuned.
Brought to you by...
At Umeme, your safety is our top priority. Report illegal practices to Umeme when you detect them. Download the Umeme app for other services. Stay alert, stay safe, save lives. Umeme, powering Uganda.
Welcome to English in a Minute. From home. A loop is a circular shape formed when something thin crosses over itself.
Hey Anna, are you going to Reggie's social distanced birthday party? I can't remember what time to be there.
I am. I think the invitation said 6. Or maybe it said to keep 6 feet apart. I think I'll call him.
Okay, cool. Keep me in the loop.
To keep someone in the loop means to keep them informed of something that is happening. Think of the loop as a circle. If you are inside of it, you know what's going on. If you're not, you don't. And that's English in a Minute.
Most people never notice that all them want and need.
This special day, a legend comes on your national TV. When you think of legends, you can't figure out DJ Dan Starboy, the reggae and dancehall ambassador.
Pound the yard, pound the yard. Woman, I love you. Yeah, you have your own style. I got to love you. You know me love you. Yeah.
Get certified of 99 greatest hits on UBC TV every Friday, 11 p.m.
Rasta no mean to fight. Rasta mean to love the people. Rasta no mean to fight every time. One love you got to spread in the ghetto. Ghetto you love yourself and love everyone. Respect your mama, respect everyone.
Even the government agrees. DJ Dan Starboy. He's a dangerous DJ.
Lesson I reveal for real. Remember that one day, every day, and what you don't need, you press on the race, speedy and just there'll be no getaway. The private now love poor people every day, minimum wage while a friend gets salary. So determined we'll get there one day. No, 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 no keep the people them in darkness. No, 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 no stop the food from go a market. Pure vigilante or price smart and target. And most feed them alone feed walk red carpet. No, 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 you'll never see me with no gimmick. Young thing done set Rastafari deliverance. Countless blessing out St. Thomas and Riverton. And no shot fire from out, no ammunition. Cause we moving forward on a conscious path. You can accept the right, or you can take the walk. Anyhow, for the king, we no subject for tongue. Anything I want me do is on behalf. Sure. You ever had that one day where everything you do just fell into place? You ever had that one day and what you don't need, you press on the race with the unjust, there'll be no getaway. Deprived and all the poor people every day, minimum wage while a friend gets salary. So determined we'll get there one day. One day. Blessing are revealed for real. So capture the moment, frame it and seal. And if you're thunderous and loud, everybody can hear. Prepare for the world, a new pioneer. John works exceed when it comes to those, the meek and the humble who carry the load. I know if, I know maybe, I know but not suppose. I wanna know